Okay, welcome, Dee Dee. This is your shout out with the Basis Project. And what's it all about, and what are you all about?
Well, really, Miles, I'm just trying to get kind of my story or there, kind of my spiritual journey. If I kind of reconnected with my mum. My mum passed away on the 19th of May, 2007. Didn't realise until maybe a couple of years ago just how important I think that date and the 1905 in general is. I tried for a few years to get a couple of different readings for spiritualist mediums and that.
Why is that significant? And the May the 19th, a lot of things happen on those sort of dates. Why did you think that was an important time?
Well, I didn't at the time. It's just that
what trigged it? What trigged it?
What, sorry?
What twigged that? What made you feel that was an important date? Obviously, your mother passing away is a big deal, a very big deal.
Yeah, it's just like since that, the other things, the amount of other things that's kind of coincided with it, things that I've discovered, like things that's happened in history. Well, even my mum was born in 1950, which was 1905. She obviously died on the 19th of May. I found out like it's got a right reference to spherical geometry and is it a tetragrammaton you said it was? 19.5 degrees.
The pentagram,
sorry?
the pentagon, the interface with the pentagon with the sphere is 19.5 degrees.
19.5 degrees, yeah. This is something that's discovered. This was the 6th of November, 2017. I came across something about the spherical geometry importance of 19.5 degrees. And it's also meant to be like Mars Path. This is just some Mars Pathfinder landed at 19.5 degrees latitude on the 4th of July 1974. On Mars, the vast Olympus Mons volcanoes at 19.5 degrees. On Jupiter, the red spot, obvious vortex is 19.5 degrees. On Neptune, there's a similar spot that's 19.5 degrees. So all these things keep seeming to be cropping up. I mean, Prince Harry, obviously, last year, he was married on the 19th of May. Just last week, I came across someone, I can't remember what it was called, but it was like a dark day or something, I think the reference to that, we need to double check it. And that was in 1780 in America, which was on the 19th of May. There was also one of the bases that I watched for one of the Super Soldiers conferences that you were at, where a lot of these got abducted, and that was on the 19th of May. So I don't know what exactly the importance it is, but I know it must kind of mean something, because there's too much synchronicities there to just be...
Well, I think Richard C. Hoagland's done a lot of work on that, and he would say hyperdimensional. Have you heard of anything like that?
Right, Richard C. Hoagland.
Yeah, Richard C. Hoagland did a lot of work, including Mark Carlotta, on the face on Mars.
Right, right.
And that was crucial about the Viking landings and the photographs of a face on Mars, looking up a mile long, a human mile long, on the face of Mars at 19.5. Hawaii is the 19.5, I think, here.
Right.
And that's where a vortex of energy spirals. Olympus Mons, same thing. It's all 19.5. And where you've been to Avebury, there's a copy of that on Mars. Or maybe the one at Avebury is a copy of the one on Mars.
Right.
But this is your story.
Yeah, yeah.
Continue.
Well, I've been trying to obviously reconnect. I've almost been quite interested in spiritualism and almost thought there was something more to what everybody sees in their kind of mundane day-to-day lives. It wasn't until 2011, that's when I started kind of writing, it was just a book of poetry charting my spiritual journey. I met somebody at the time who was teaching me how to kind of meditate, and one night I was trying it and I just got this I just burst out greeting. I just kept being full of emotion. And then I could like hear my mum speaking to me, and the energy that was in the room, it was, at one point I just felt like she was just hovering right at the top of me. I could feel her face. And I was just talking to her as if she was in the room. I laughed, I cried, and as I was crying, it was like I was telling myself to tell her to stop crying, as if she was like crying through me, if that makes sense. And then after that, it was I could hear a lot of different like people that I'd lost or that had been lost, and it just everybody was wanting to kind of talk, which got quite overwhelming. So I ended up asking my mum to take them all away, and she did. But she says that I would never get rid of her. So I started writing. I was advised to just kind of start writing a book or write my spiritual journey, if you like. And I started just writing a book of poems, which kind of since what's happened for, I suppose you could say, my second kind of awakening. I got right into, I started developing like in a spiritual development circle, but I wasn't that for too much longer. I joined a paranormal investigation group, kind of just trying to search for as much knowledge and differences that I could. I studied Reiki as well. I'm a Reiki master, or well, an energy healer, I'll call myself now. Dear, I forgot what I was going to say.
That's okay. That's okay. I mean, you'd
There's
mentioned
that much I want to
poems.
say at the
yeah,
same
well,
time.
yeah, no worries, no
I'm
worries.
conscious of my kind of thick, broad accent, so I'm not actually speaking the way I normally would speak.
Don't worry. So you mentioned poems. I mean, what inspired your poems? Have you got some you want to, say or?
Yeah. Well, the first one I wrote, I mean, it's when I started questioning everything. Just after that, I just started writing, and the first poem I wrote was, this was the 4th of June 2011. What is it with this thing called life? What is it that causes the trouble and strife? What is it that makes us all see what we see, and what keeps the world turning to a certain degree? What is it when you think that I have found my path? What is it that when you think, are you having a laugh? What is it that makes you feel left out in the cold? And what is it that makes you feel big, strong and bold? What leads to confusion and when you can't think straight? What is it that makes you think that, man, life is great? What is it that makes you feel, what is it that makes you feel things are all wrong? And what is it that keeps us all just plodding along? Why is it in our lives that we do what we do? You see, this is a question that I'm asking to you. And if you don't have answers, then neither do I. So we'll just keep on searching, or at least we can try. And looking back now, that's probably been the start of what just started making me the searching part, when we're on a search. When I had a second spiritual awakening, it was not as much I kind of opened up to spirit then. As I was trying to share things that I was getting, the people round about me who were in a spiritualist movement were kind of, not discrediting it, but kind of saying, no, that's not right, or that's not right. And it made me double guess a lot of things, that what I was receiving, was that, was that right, or where was I receiving it for? So I kind of shut myself off again. Then in 2015, a partner at the time, her mum and another woman were looking to open up a wee spiritual cafe thing. I had just finished my sport remedial massage at the time, although I've still not got my certificate because I passed the coursework, but I never handed in any the case studies we had to do because I ended up in hospital. And it was, I'd booked a phone reading. It was the 7th of July. Again, it's for the 7th of July 2015, the synchronicities and patterns I'm seeing in numbers and dates, and it's been blowing my mind. And like speaking to other people is kind of like, wow, especially in my own family. The 19th of May, for example, when my mum died, there was one day when I had no money and I was in speaking to my dad, and he'd left and I had no petrol, so I knew he'd saved up £2 coins and up the stairs in a jar. So I went up the stairs into the jar, and I heard the voice just saying, look in the tin. There was a tin next to it that my mum used to keep, like insurance policies and some important birthday cards that she wanted to keep. So I was looking through the tin, didn't know what I was looking for, and I came across a wee card for my dad joining, I think it was a church, and that was dated the 19th of May 1968. So I was showing my dad that, and there's been a lot of kind of barrier between me and my dad now in the last few years because of everything that's happened. But I mean, I just feel that's what my book is actually called, Guided by Mother, a journey from the self, through the self to the soul. I didn't really know at the time why I'd picked that title, but looking back now, to me, it's like it's a journey away for yourself, your character that you've built up through in this lifetime. So it's kind of for retrace my whole life, every experience I've had in this lifetime, to go back to well, if people believe, like your higher self, if you like. But the 7th of July, as you know, it was the same day as the London tube bombings in 2005. My big brother was born on the 7th of July. I've got a very good friend who was married on the 7th of July. It's also Roswell was discovered on the 7th of July. Led me on to discover things like my favourite band when I was younger was The Doors. Jim Morrison, well, he died on the 3rd of July. He was buried on the 7th of July. Light My Fire hit #1 on the 7th of July 1967. That then kind of led on to finding out that Jim Morrison's dad was basically his admiral in charge of the Gulf of Tonkin incident, which drew America more into the Vietnam War. Obviously now you hear like things like MK Ultra and the mind control programs that's been going on all over the world basically. And when I started coming up, I mean, I got that phone reading for the medium that day, and just as she came off the phone, she was like, "Can you hang on a minute, I want to give you a meditation today." So she sent me it through an email, and I went up the stairs and I done it. And then I just started really, I don't know what it was, but just my whole body just like started shaking like a washing machine kind of thing. And then for that day, over the course of the next 10 days, let's say the medium just kept talking about me being more involved in the show, myself being more involved in this, and like I come off the phone that day, and I went for a game of golf, and then I went and met my partner mum at the shop, and I said to the guy, "Look, they were trying to get a form done that they were stalling on, and they didn't really need the form basically." And after that, all of a sudden I was just flooded with these ideas. It was like literally the bit of the Matrix where he gets plugged out the back. It was just like a super download. I was starting to hear things that I was going to come up with, develop a healing and treatment plan that was going to be instrumental in changing a lot of people's life. Well, actually, it was instrumental in changing the world. That was going to have contracts with the NHS, with the government, and I was going to have more money than Bill Gates, as ridiculous as it sounds. And like I started telling people around about me, these spiritual people, and they then all kind of turned against me. But I was told, I mean, they go out and they work churches and they do everything in love and light, as they say, but I think it's everybody don't realise they're in darkness. Can they talk about going on platform and raising their vibration to give a message? But being about that movement for a good few years, I've seen what these people are like when they lower their vibration again. Because they'll start talking about each other behind their back, or they get jealous of how somebody will get a message really, really quick, and they can get it really quick, or I don't like the way they give a message because it's not specific enough. But at the end of the day, all the messages are coming for yourself. It's just the notion of your character in this lifetime that it separates us all. Things I've studied into, I mean, on a consciousness level, we all share the same consciousness. We are all one. It's just that we've fragmented ourselves, or been manipulated and fragmented for so long in so many different ways to make us all think that we're all separate, but we're not. We all come from love. Love is source to me. That's all that it really is. And for what happened the last few years, I mean, I lost the three things that I loved more than anything in the world. My three kids, through no fault of my own. I've never done anything to harm them. I just done everything to protect them. I mean, up until 2015, I was still working in residential childcare, which I'd done for the past 10 years. I was actually a senior care worker for 5 of those years, and gave up that position when my marriage broke down, just so I could see my kids on a regular basis. So just because I was saying things the same way, you know, and we've almost been loud. I come from a family kind of notorious, what people would call crabbit bastards up our way. But then, because I was saying things, I had a huge argument with my dad, and that freaked my dad out a bit, because I'd never spoke to my dad the way I had before. That then led him and my partner to go behind my back and get a doctor to my house, even though I was sitting in the house minding my own business. But again, as I looked into this, the whole system to me is a trap. It's all profiling, it's all to spot the vulnerable, or to spot people who maybe see through the crap that we're all kind of subjected to through our governments, which they mean mind control. I mean, government comes from the Latin governo or governare, which means to control, and mens, which is the mind. So we're basically telling us that it's mind but everything is hidden in plain sight, as they say. But but also once they say once you see through it, you can't unsee through it. And for that happening, the more and more, the louder I got and the more I tried to shout and justify what I was getting, the more and more people turned against me. And folk that tell me, especially one person that told me she loved me, just lies, just tell that much lies about me, she ruined my life. And the money, I mean, they were starting a business and they were going to go, and I was going to go and get a bank loan, which she got one of her pals to forge some wage slips for so she could get that. So she'd got that fraudulently. So I went and asked my dad for money. My dad gave me £30,000 that was probably left for my mum passing. And to me it's a bit like the 30 pieces of silver that Jesus was prayed for in the Bible. Because that £30,000 is now gone. And I used that money to put into a shop, and I was told at the time, don't put my name on anything. I never put my name in the lease, I let them sign that. I never put my name, and I was told specifically, even the day we sat down to sign the lease, the landlord said again, do you want your name on this? I says, no, I'm getting told not to do it. And because I didn't do it, I mean, when I first, I wasn't even a fallout. I had a fallout with my girlfriend that day as she left. We just went and got a new car, signed the lease, had a new car. Basically, I'd achieved my dream. You know what I mean? I was starting a new business, just about to start a new life, my own business. And the last I was starting with, it just ripped it all away from us. So I kind of start for 3 days in a trance. My dad was coming in and was speaking to me, but I just had, I had a huge shouting and bawling argument with him. Then by the Monday I got took up to the hospital. Well, the doctor came, actually, a GP, a stranger who I did not know. I hadn't been to the doctor for years because I've never had any major illnesses. And she came and sat down and asked me how I felt. I said I felt great. I said I feel absolutely fantastic. And then she kind of insisted that, asked me to go up to the hospital to speak to somebody. I told her I didn't want to. Then she kind of, when she insisted and I told her there was no way she was taking me anywhere, I discovered there was already 2 police officers standing at the front door. Since I found that they had the right to be there anyway because they shouldn't be breaking their oath of office to uphold the common law to enforce statutory acts of Parliament. Anyway, that's just, it's wrong, it's treasonous, or treacherous, or whatever, how you say it. So I went up to the hospital, spoke to some psychiatrists, and again reiterated to them that I was just about to start my own business. I was high on life, I felt fantastic, and up until that point, I mean, in that year, I grew up all my life with hearing these phrases like, if you've got a healthy body, you've got a healthy mind. Well, in 2015, as I started to incorporate the ideas I was getting for this kind of treatment plan or healing and treatment plan, I'd already lost 4 stone at that point before I got put in the hospital. But in total in 2015, I lost 6 stone in 11 months without going to the gym and eating a takeaway nearly every night of the week, which I kind of still do. I don't really do much exercise at all, apart from I go to body balance now and again and just really go out for a walk and do a lot of kind of deep breathing and just try and no think of the past. Because a lot of things, I just let it all go and try to incorporate cold rather than heat. I started going up to the sauna and just going in the hot sauna and into the cold shower. Started going out walking there, that's how I've got shorts on. I find it quite difficult to wear long sleeve trousers, long leg trousers anymore, because I feel myself getting too hot. Well, we're Scottish, so we did have to wear kilts, so I'm kind of trying to bring back that tradition as well. This time I was in hospital that time for 8 days. They weren't going to let me stay. They were trying to get me put into what I knew would like the intensive care unit, like basically the locked ward. And I think if that had happened that night, they would have just tried to jag me with something and just drug the shit out of me basically. Because they were phoning in other places. There was no beds at St John's. There was no beds at Glasgow, I don't think, or Edinburgh, wherever they were phoning. So eventually they wanted the nurse to come in with a wee box of tablets and try to say, I've got a wee deal for you. And I was like, look, don't tell me you've got any deal for me. He said, I don't want to be here, so there's nothing that you're going to offer me that I'm going to want. But eventually I agreed to take these tablets so that I could go up to the kind of more open ward. I spoke to a psychiatrist the next day and they prescribed me quetiapine, I think it was, and I took them twice, until they came in with a wee leaflet, and I discovered that they'd put me in an emergency detention. But then I discovered in a 72-hour emergency detention, they're not supposed to give you any medication, it's supposed to be an assessment period. So after that, I refused point blank to take any more medication. And that had been the case up until last year, until something else happened. I'm not getting into that now because we're kind of limited for time here. But the 7-7 thing, I don't know again exactly the significance of it. I just know there was a thing that I seen that you'd done like with Max's mum, Max Spears' mum, who'd said, I'd heard her saying that it was almost writing things down on bits of paper, and one of them was anagrams, which if I see a word now, I can see that another 10 words in it that have got relevance as well. And the 777 he wrote down, well, that was to me with 7-7 relates to me with that. But other things that, I mean, Donald Trump, for example, when he was inaugurated in 2016, I think he was 70 years, 7 months and 7 days old, because that's all been planned. I mean, everything that's apparently been pre-planned for years and years with the people who are trying to keep us away from our true potential, I think, and our true destiny. Which I don't know exactly what that is yet, but I think we all share that journey. And I think this is 2018 for me. Last year was when everything came full circle, and I met my new partner. 20 times 18 is 360, so that is a full circle. 2019, I got told it was got to be a year for change, and 2020 will be when the vision will become a bit clearer. Also in that period then between the 7th of July and the 17th of July, I wrote about 60 wee 4-line verses. I don't know what I say, it's a quatrain, or can I compare myself to Nostradamus, but it's the same, along the same kind of lines, but kind of without the doom and gloom in it. I got a vision for the future, for the good that's got to come for everybody. And speaking to people over the last 3 years, I've speaking to so many people that's got the same vision. I mean, I wanted to build a healing centre, a purpose-built hydrotherapy healing centre with organic fruit and veg, herbs, vegetables, honey, which we need to get more into. I mean, most honey you buy now in supermarkets, it's all blended honey, it's not even real honey. I mean, I've heard that most of it's all like high fructose corn syrup. It's not got the actual properties of honey in it. But I came across somewhere, I can't find it again on the internet, but I came across some that apparently pharmaceutical companies are using raw honey to clean out their pipes, the crap that they're passing us off to as medicine. Well, medicine, it says it in the name, it's a sin. Medicine is a sin. So I'm kind of feeling, I'm here now, I've set up my own kind of foundation. I don't know if you'll be able to see that, or if you can maybe post it and put it in. Called the Open Arms Foundation. I've also got set up my own coat of arms, because I have got a claim to the throne of Scotland lodged in court, because the people ruling our country now, they're traitors as well. They're not necessarily traitors, they're foreigners. They're royal family, the House of Hanover, the Hanoverian dynasty is Germany, and it's broke. We're needing a ruler again who cares about our country and his fate, our country, to unite our full country again. I mean, you've got a United Kingdom, but it's so divided. I mean, even within Scotland and England, we've got a different set of laws. Wales have got a different set of laws. The NHS, it all runs different in every country of a United Kingdom, so how can it possibly be united if it isn't running in unison? It just doesn't make sense in a lot of ways. So I'm a foundation. I was going to set up since 2015. I've been back in hospital 3-4 times or something now. And I got told the second time I was in, I got told my mum said, just let them write their own obituary. And I mean, I've got all my medical notes. I mean, you actually see how like psychiatrists take people's words and use them against them for their opinion, but their opinion is formed on a book that they've read. And that you trace that back to like Sigmund Freud, who was probably the godfather of psychoanalytic thought. But even his second name sounds like a bit like a fraud. And I've since found out that Sigmund Freud was a heavy drinker, a cocaine addict, and a bit of a sex pest, basically. So that's the guy who's coming up with all these ideas about psychoanalytic thought. A guy sitting about having a wee drink, a couple of lines, and blaming everything on the mother. I mean, I wrote one of the wee poems I wrote was Sigmund Freud, he was a fraud. For man's breaking back he made a rod, because he tried to blame it on the mother, when it takes two and man was the other. Tried to blame it on the kids being at home with mum all day, all their problems. Well, no, the problem is that you weren't there with the mum in the family unit in a male-dominated society, which is totally not like that now, because it's a mere female-dominated society. But I've also heard that that's the way the system was designed. It was designed to break up the family unit and demasculate the male of the species. To me, the welfare state that was created in 1948, it was almost designed to be a farewell to the state, because just look at the state they've made it. It was almost just all about stealing money, stealing energy, and basically pitting man against man, brother against brother, which again goes back to the Battle of the Boyne. I mean, Scotland's quite bad for sectarianism, but at the end of the day, when you actually look into what it means, and not just sectarian, all religions, it's all wrong to me. I mean, to me, this is pretty much been hell on earth. This is the Garden of Eden that we've been in all along. It's just that people that come down and stole the land and then says, right, well, own that land's mine now, but I'm going to get you to mine it out of it, then make stuff out of it, sell it back to yourself. I've got all the money, and you'll just keep plodding along, doing whatever we basically tell you to do. Go on the roads that we build for you, go on the railroads that we build for you, go on the planes that will take you where we want to take you. We basically are being like rats in a wee... It is a rat race, because we're just all running about. Think we need to do things that we don't really do. We shouldn't have to be doing. We should all have our own wee bit of land and be able to go everywhere. I mean, people think you live in a free country, but you don't. You live in an open prison. If you need a pass or a book to get out of your country, then you're not in a free country. And then within that country, they put you in your own wee town, your own wee village, and you've got your own wee street, your own wee scheme, then eventually in your own wee house and your own wee room. And now what they're trying to do is get everybody, not just, well, people already are trapped in their own minds. Sitting watching television all day, and football's more important, their car's more important, everything's almost more important to somebody else in their family and the people around about them who we're all supposed to love. Everybody just wants to love their self, I think, at the end of the day, and it's something that I've almost put myself last, but everybody around about me has almost had the perception that I put myself first, kind of thing. It's... Aye. But I did, again, another 7-7 thing too was, I hadn't wrote a book. I wrote this on the 30th of June 2015. I hadn't wrote a poem in it for the 27th of February 2014, which again makes me wonder why do you do things when you're meant to do them? Is everything scripted? Is it all predestined, or do we all have the choice of free will? That's kind of the million-dollar question for me at the moment. But this one I wrote on the 30th of June, which again was 7 days before the 7th of the 7th, which is another 777. And it was basically, send me your energy, send me your love, send peaceful healing from realms from above. Make live my senses, ready to receive a divine loving message that makes me believe. Clear out my chakras, then balance them true, then sharpest my focus for this work I've to do. A union united, when two halves become whole, twin flames burn much brighter, mind, body and soul. I don't expect favours, nor do I feel like I'm owed. Now it's time for the harvest from past seeds that's been sowed. Our relationships blossoms through the hardships and pain, and we finally see now what's to lose and to gain. So I feel that we're ready, but that's up to you, to begin a new journey, work together to do. Our love's undeniable, but with temper sometimes short, can be lost in translation from an angry retort. So together forever, like we have always been, to live for the present and not what the past seen, and safe in the knowledge that we will never part, because we both know each other as the key to our heart. And somebody gave me a key to their heart since that was wrote.
So where do people get in contact with you? Have you written a book for you with your poems?
Well, that's what I'm planning on doing. That was one of the things I was telling 2 years ago. I got told I was going to write a book. Yep. So I'm going to kind of write a book round about. I'm going to start writing a book. I've already printed some of my poems out. I mean, I've got them all copyrighted, but I don't think anybody's. We've been living in copyright for so long. Everything's been copied for years, millennia, I don't know how long, but everything is just keeping getting replayed and rebranded, and so I'm kind of trying to start my own brand. So I'm going to write a book of poems, but I think I'll just put my poems in and maybe do a wee explanation of how the poem came about or what it meant to me at the time. But even this whole book, I mean, since meeting, I thought I wrote this book for somebody else. But if I met somebody else, even when we first met, I was reading a couple of poems because she asked, and even then I was like, wow. I mean, I said I could have been writing this book about you. And again, the 19.5, my mum, this person I met on the 9th of May, which is another 9-5, which is, again, there's just all these people who say it's, or pass a lot of things off as just being coincidence, but I don't think there is any coincidences. Everything is just, it's a synchronicity more than a coincidence.
Well, in the last minute or so, what do you want to really get across? How do people contact you? Do people want to contact you, or what?
If anybody, well, they know if I've lost the shop. I've got a wee treatment room in Falthouse. It used to be in the Old Doctor's Sunday. For anybody in Scotland, I'm at Blackfalls Court in Unit 3. The services that I do, I mean, it's just things that I've learned. I'm trying to put every wee bits that I've learned together in a kind of individualised and specific treatment plan. Which I know works. I mean, I found out one of my mates was taking smack a couple of years ago, around about when this happened, and within a week I'd kind of got him off it, got him where he's rattled, kind of got him kind of settled. He was in arrears. I'd helped him out financially in that at the time, only to then see him kind of have to go on a methadone script so as he would get his benefits, and that's how I think it's called the methadone, because they've got a method to get people on it. And they get them hooked on some, and then they've come out with their own synthetic version of some. Because a lot of people tell that it's harder to get off methadone than what it is heroin. I don't see that guy the new either, but I think I could work with anybody. I'm working with a guy the new who he lost his job last year. His marriage broke down. He'd heavily alcoholic. Who they knew it doesn't really. I started really working with him just before Christmas, doing some healing and energy clearing, some mirror image work with him, and he's no drink. I mean, he's actually went up and been offered drink for folk now and knocked it back. He's kind of refocused, got a different outlook in life, and I think it's just try to get people to forget about themselves and realise that you're the problem. Any problem you've got in your own life, it's you that's caused them. And anything that you can't get out, it's only us that keep thinking about things or keep things replaying in your head. That's why I think everybody's head's full of wee more. Sorry, I've got a website which is www.openarms.scot. We're on Facebook at openarms.scotland. But I will say, I mean,
sorry, is that both exactly? You did a different. Is it Open Arms? Exactly what it is?
Facebook is at Open Arms Scotland, but the website's www.openarms.scot.
Okay, that's important.
So it's a wee bit
very
different.
Important. Well, this is a stepping stones to awareness, sort of witness, personal statement, and thank you. It's been fantastic.
Thank you.
Any little final words to encourage others? And it's tremendous what you've said.
Love. Every other emotion you've got, it's all false. The only real thing is love, right? Anger, jealousy, bitterness, resentment. That's something you've been taught to think or feel, or you've had an experience that's made you hold on to that. Basically, and to tell people to shut up a wee bit more. Stop talking. Silence can be golden. Silence will be golden. You know what I mean? All words are spells. Everything carries energy. All carries value. But it's another big lie you get told at school that sticks and stones will break your bones, but names will never hurt you, which is one of the biggest lies I've ever heard in my fucking life. Because your bones may break, but your bones will heal. But they be mental scars in people's psyche, stays with them forever. Even psychiatrists, no, psyche's got nothing to do with the mind. Psyche's the Greek word for the soul. So it's all to do with your soul. And that's how people, when they speak and they give that, it's all spell casting. That's how we get taught to spell at school, and that bloody thing there is a wee magic wand. And it's mightier than the sword now. Because it just you can't get away for yourself. And somebody can come up and hurt you, but then when you're sitting with your own, you're trapped within the prison of your own mind. Or some people have been through that much trauma and abuse that they've got their minds shattered into that many different bits. It's like a maze in there.
Well, that's for another time. Thank you very much, Dee Dee.
Thank you, Miles.
And that's Dee Dee. That's D-D or D-E-D-E?
Yeah, well, it's D-E, D-double-E, D-double-E. I had to spell it that way. You put it on Facebook. But then that's led on to things like John D and all other sorts of things that score.
Well, you're very, very wise words.
Thank you.
Thank you from Stepping Stones.